So I'm just going to briefly set this up, a couple of really, hopefully brief commentaries in terms of some recent research we've done in Appledore Research for dynamic inventory, specifically looking at dynamic inventory. But I think some of these themes actually play quite well in terms of just generally some of the challenges that if we can solve them will become key to actually enabling the automation that we really want when it comes to software-defined networks. Okay, so I think one of the challenges, particularly with we're used to OSS being software, but one of the things I think that is very important is actually to start recognizing the network. In the network becoming software and OSS being software, we need to be starting to think that everything is about software. So some of the very hard distinctions that we have currently within the way we run networks today, not only do they need, should they blur, but they need to blur in order to be able to truly get the benefits of the software definition in the network. So things that have classically been, in the case of inventory, things that have been classically OSS, which is an inventory solution, and things that have been classically the network in terms of the network state, they begin to blur. And if we continue to make these very hard distinctions, or in terms of the coordination of them, and we don't enable automation that's potentially more relevant to the network state end or higher level in the OSS, we're going to continue against problems in automation, because we will need to automate at so many different points in the architecture. So we need to start thinking about, in the case of inventory, network state can be part of the inventory, it becomes part of the federated inventory. The other thing is just, again, we're used to building networks in terms of how they approach failure, in terms of building very strongly coordinated platforms and the stuff on it. If we look at where virtualization needs to go in terms of cloud native, we need to be much more aware that cloud native solves the problem of failure much more at the application layer, and we need to be thinking about how we build that application failure logic and coordination into that area. So, and again, with specific reference to what we were doing here in inventory needs to handle those problems and work with the application being part of this solution. So with that kind of brief introduction, I think there are some key themes there. I'd like to introduce Lukasz Mendek from Comarch onto the stage. Thank you very much.